The sun's down, the soldering iron's hot, and you know what that means. Welcome to night school, where the zip ties are tight, the code's questionable, and the LEDs never sleep. Hosted by the one and only Bobby, the professor of pixel mayhem, we are diving deep into lighting tips, tech fails, sketchy workarounds, and the secrets nobody teaches until now. Whether you're mapping props at midnight or just here for the chaos, this is your crash course in RGB enlightenment. So grab your beverage of choice and remember, there's no syllabus, no rules, and no guarantee we'll make it out with all our fingers. This is Night School.
Hey everyone, welcome to Night School. My name is Bobby Galeza, and I have Jason Rasmussen with me today, and we're going to be going over audio and fine-tuning it so that you can have the best show possible for your upcoming Christmas season. So Jason, first, we'll introduce introduction about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Jason Rasmussen. I've been doing this since 2017. And I remember when I first started out with, speaking of audio, when I first started out with this, like I do have a degree in some audio. I do a lot of audio dabbling, and it's definitely a priority for me. And I saw online, how to set up pixels, how to do this. I'm learning. And then I'm seeing all these people posting just a ton of, I'm having audio issues. I'm having this, I'm having that. And the recommendations were just absolutely insane. Like they were completely wrong. People were like recommending, go out and buy this $100 audio cable. It's just like, it's not going to do a thing, or buy this or do that. And it's like, wow, guys, let's see if we can fix this. So came in there, went on some forums, put out some stuff. People like, whoa, this works. This is this is awesome. And then people started coming to me, hey, can you do some presentations? Can you do this and that? And here we are. And you can welcome my humble garage. That's where I'm relegated to with two kids. I used to have an office, but now my office is the garage. But it's probably better that way, right?
Yeah. Okay. So you have your presentation about the audio and how to make my audio sound better for my show so that people won't be covering their ears from all the screeching sounds and,
yep.
The
baby sharks.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's a popular one on my show.
Oh. Okay.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
Yep.
Okay. Quick disclaimer, talking about professional trying. I do have audio in my presentation, but Streamlabs will not grab the audio from the presentation. So I'm literally going to have to hold up my microphone to the speaker. So in case you hear, if it sounds weird, that is Streamlabs. That's not my presentation. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead here. Here we go. All right, this is Perfect Sound, Perfect Show, audio and FM transmission. Again, my name is Jason Rasmussen, and there is the link to my Facebook page for my lights, if you ever want to visit them, Lights on Symphony Street. So I am from Anaheim, California, and I've been doing a synchronized light display since 2017. I do have an Anaheim Beautiful award-winning show, so the mayor, got an award from the mayor, if you will. I love theme parks, electronic music, reading, hiking, and camping. And I danced in Disney's Very Merry Christmas Parade from 1987 to 1989. And yes, you can find televised footage of me out there online from the show. So, too long, didn't read. I can't take the time to do this presentation. You're probably watching this close to showtime. And what do? You just plug it in, turn a dial, and you hear sound, and I'm good to go, right? Nope, not at all. You spend all year on display, but you can't be bothered to watch a 1-hour video on improving your audio, which is literally half of your show and vitally critical. Can you at least spare me 6 minutes? So here we go. Spare me 6 minutes, please. And please do watch this entire presentation to get the most out of your audio. You've spent all year building your display, 3D printing essential items, sequencing. Who am I kidding? You likely don't sequence yourself, going to Home Depot again and again and again. And your lights look absolutely beautiful. But oh no, once a week from Showtime, and I forgot all about the audio. And it sounds like this, or like this, or like this.
Dad, I want to go home.
Audio is literally half your show, often an afterthought, and one can't be bothered to watch an hour video on audio and FM transmission. Link in description below, and you really should watch it. You've come to the right place. Nothing sponsored, no affiliations. I just want your display to sound as good as it looks. Oh, look. The older Pis have audio out. I'll just use this. Guess what? It's trash. But I run Xscheduler and my computer has a headphone out. Generic. Trash. My device doesn't have an audio out. What am I to do? Upgrade your sound card with the Creative Sound Blaster. Creative has been making high-quality audio devices with custom chips for decades. They know PC audio, and the difference is night and day. Don't settle for generics. But onboard sounds fine. You didn't get into this hobby to do things fine or half-baked. Audio is something you need to hear the difference yourself. Don't cheap out on $19. Well, I'll just use this cheapo USB adapter. Generic audio. Trash. But this is a few bucks cheaper. Cheap USB. Trash. Onboard and generics output sound. Yes, but not quality sound. If using one of these cult boards, they use a TI DAC, which also outputs quality sound parity to the Sound Blaster, so you're good to go on the audio out. If using a BeagleBone, Pi 5, Zero, or Hat, USB audio is your only choice. Get the Sound Blaster Play 3. If not in stock, alternatives can be found here. Wouldn't be the first time I've had Amazon go out of stock. Power off, plug in, turn on, select the Sound Blaster. Keep the volume at 70 and leave it. Add a 5-second boot delay if the sound card isn't showing up. Still not showing up or it goes away? You probably have an overpowered FM transmitter or an underpowered Pi. Plug in your audio source to output. Speaking of power, if a Pi or BeagleBone is underpowered, expect weirdness. Use official Pi power supplies whenever possible. Ditch random power supplies and cables for quality ones. Too many USB devices sucking power and causing weirdness? Get a powered hub. FM will be the best way to broadcast quality, no latency audio. And no, FM isn't going away. Bluetooth as narrowcast will always introduce a delay, and phone speakers will never compare to actual speakers. These are the most common FM transmitters in our hobby, which can be obtained. All have their pros and cons, but if you just want an out-of-box experience, the half-watt sine stack or equivalent is a good choice. Don't ever buy a higher wattage unless you want problems.
If I bring them up close to my FM transmitter, they start to go crazy.
If you're using a sine stack half watt, set to low power. Rolls and FM board transmitters have no power adjustments. Pro tip, buy a second for a backup. RDS for song info? I don't even bother. Use Remote Falcon to show what is playing, artwork, show information, vote for songs, and more. Some don't come with antennas, and if supplied, they generally are not that great. And cutting a random length of wire is even worse. For a great inexpensive antenna that can be built in an evening, see John Creed's dipole antenna design. Mount your antenna higher and no obstructions to increase range and signal strength. Think line of sight. Use quality shielded cables, but audio cables are no substitution or fix for generic sound cards or bad audio levels. Using an FM transmitter and outdoor speakers, audio splitters are fine. So are Ethernet balance for long runs. You can run audio cables 50 feet or more without issue. Just don't run alongside Pixel or power cords unless you love unintended techno remixes. If using speakers, I recommend outdoor Polk or Klipsch. Tool if on a budget. Use an amplifier. Do not power directly. Drock offers affordable, quality amplifier boards powered by 12 volt. Alternatively, find a cheap home theater receiver at thrift shops. You can even make your own push for music with a Drock timer. Buy your MP3s from Amazon. Don't rip your audio from YouTube. If you can't afford $1 for quality MP3 files, you're in the wrong hobby. MP3 gain and normalization will help optimize audio files. MP3 gain will not fix your show's audio in just one click, nor will it make all songs have the same volume. I'm not saying don't use it. Use it, but understand what it does and what it does not do, as it's just one part of having good audio. This is very important. Don't skip this part. Optimizing your gain levels is crucial so you have the strongest audio signal without distortion. Also, don't guess. Regardless of what some rando person online says, don't put FPP at 50 and the volume dial at halfway and call it a day, as your levels will be less than optimal or introduce distortion. Instead, use science. If using FPP, leave it 70. If using a computer, set volume at 100. Leave these settings here. You're not going to be changing them. We are going to use a 0 dB 100 Hz test tone. This audio file is at the maximum volume level without distortion. Any distortion downline is easy to hear with bass. Generate one in Audacity or download here. Play the 100 Hz test tone from FPP or your computer on a loop. Get your in-listening device, such as car radio if broadcasting, or external speakers, and put around 25% volume. This doesn't have to be exact. With the 100 hertz test tone playing, slowly turn up the gain on your FM transmitter till you hear distortion on the in-listening device. Once you hear distortion, back the gain down until you hear no more distortion. Now leave this set here. Done! You've optimized your audio gain and can now turn up your in-listening device. If you're using the FM board, you can skip optimization as inputs are set digitally, so leave it 26. I can't cover much troubleshooting in this short video, you lazy bum. Watch my longer video, but the most common issues I see are in this order: underpowered Pi or BeagleBone, overpowered or underpowered FM transmitter. Using an FM transmitter greater than half a watt and have issues? You were warned. Here's a bucket for you to cry into. No crying in the online forums. Gain levels not set properly or set randomly by some rando online recommendation. Using generic or onboard audio and not a creative sound blaster. Poor antenna or antenna location. Too many USB devices or underpowered USB hub dropping the sound card, or 1 gig USB hub causing audio interference. In conclusion, creative sound blaster. Quality audio files, normalize if needed. Quality FM transmitter, an antenna mounted high and unobstructed. Quality cables. Don't underpower your FPP or use an overpowered FM transmitter. Optimizing gain levels. And check here for the updated hardware list. And you're all set. Your show sounds as good as it looks. Crack a cold one, enjoy the show, and have a Merry Christmas. So that is the TLDR for your audio, but please do watch the rest of this. So, a wise man once said, the sound and music are 50% of the entertainment in a movie. And your display looks good, but does it sound good? Sound is very important in our displays and is often overlooked. Do you have poor audio, distortion, static, flat, undynamic sound, maybe some audio issues? Quality audio is a lot more than just buying an FM transmitter. And differences in visuals are easy to see, but with audio, you need to hear the difference yourself. You don't have to spend a ton to get good audio either. And audio questions always come up before the lights go on. It's usually the last thing people think about. That's why it's kind of one of the earlier things we're doing now in the season. If you're watching it early, then you're on the up and up. So, audio differences must be heard yourself on proper equipment. So due to varied listening devices, Zoom, and YouTube compression, I'm mainly going to use visual comparisons. And access this QR code or this link right here, or the QR code for up-to-date list of shared equipment and all links in this presentation. I'm going to keep this up to date. So if something goes out of stock or something, let me know and I will update it there. So that's the main thing you need to check for every single link in this presentation, plus other URLs, videos, and everything else. And this presentation is simplified and cuts to the chase. My 2021 Virtual Christmas Summit video has more audio details if you wanted to view that there. And I have no royalties or affiliations from any recommended product here. I just want your show to sound awesome. So, Sound Essentials 101. Decibels. This is the measure of a sound level. And why it's important? It keeps audio at the right loudness without distortion. 0 dB, this is the loudest point without distorting, with negative values being quieter. Exceeding 0 dB will cause clipping. What is clipping? Clipping and gain. Clipping is when audio exceeds 0 dB, causing distortion. So you want to keep your audio levels below 0 dB to maintain quality. And if you look in that picture in the upper right-hand corner, you can see the clipping where the audio levels have reached over 0 dB and it basically just cuts it right off. And gain, this controls the input level of the audio. Proper gain, you want to have proper gain. If there's too much gain, you're going to have clipping. So you can see in the right here, I got clipping. It's going over 0 dB. And too little gain is the audio levels are not optimized. So your levels are going to be pretty low. And clipping can also occur with incorrect audio gain and FM settings, or just arbitrary setting gain dials or volume levels. It's like, oh, I'm going to randomly turn the dial and hear audio. Perfect. It sounds good. Well, you could get clipping. Signal to noise ratio. This is the ratio between the signal, which is good, and the noise, which is bad. Noise can come from many places. It can come from poor quality sound card or audio file, poor equipment or cables, electrical interference. I mean, we run pixels for goodness sake. Gain and SNR. This is the proper gain increases signal strength and reduces the background noise, improving the signal to noise ratio. And it's easier to avoid noise than to remove it later. Like they say, garbage in, garbage out. Normalizing. This amplifies the loudest part of an entire audio file to peak at 0 dB. This maximizes the signal without altering the dynamic range. Even professional audio may be too quiet and need normalizing. So here's an example of a song that I run in my show, and as it came, it's not optimized, it's not normalized. It is a lot lower than the other songs in my show. So with normalization, you can normalize your audio with Audacity or MP3 gain. This is also built into FPP. Now, MP3 gain normalizes without recompressing, preserving quality, unlike Audacity, which recompresses and may reduce the audio quality. It can also reduce the gain on otherwise perfectly fine audio files to try and achieve a similar volume. That's kind of one of the kind of drawbacks with MP3 gain, is it can actually bring the audio levels down of some other files. So in some cases it can be good, in some cases it can be bad. So here's the myth. MP3 gain will make all songs have the same volume. It will not. It will amplify quieter songs, but it will not fix your show's audio in one click and is no substitution for optimizing your audio. Equalization. This is used primarily to compensate for inadequacies in the final output or emphasize certain frequencies. You're going to want to use this sparingly or not at all. If broadcasting FM to cars, I recommend leaving this off or flat. If you're using an external speaker setup, go ahead and adjust the final EQ to your liking, but only after you've optimized your audio levels. Sound cards. Sound cards. Basic audio is poor audio. The Raspberry Pi, inexpensive USB generic sound cards, and built-in onboard sound cards almost always use the same poor audio chipsets. While they may output sound, they don't output quality sound. And here's some pictures. You can see we have the generic sound card with drastically reduced audio, even at 100%. There's distortion in the Pi. The other generic sound cards have noise, even clipping in the audio level. There's so many problems with these generic sound cards. And it's easy and inexpensive to upgrade your sound card. You can see on the lower right-hand side, the audio file. That's the original audio file. And that's what it looks like coming out of the Raspberry Pi. Not even close. So sound cards, Creative Sound Blaster. Creative Labs sound cards provide superior audio surpassing generic and onboard audio. It will output sound identical to the original audio, full and vibrant, unlike other sound cards. In some cases, USB is your only choice, like if using a laptop, a Pi 5, Pi 0, or a Pi with the hat or the BeagleBone. The Sound Blaster Play 3 is by far and away the clear winner in audio quality and signal strength. At $19, it's a no-brainer light show upgrade. If you cheap out on this, you're definitely in the wrong hobby. Note, the Sound Blaster Play 4 is not compatible with FPP, but is okay on a PC or a Mac. So if you have a CULP board with the TI for Texas Instruments DAC, the following CULP boards use a quality TI DAC, which is on parity to the Sound Blaster Play 3. So the K16, K32, 64, and 128. If you're using one of the above, you're good to go on the audio out. Or if you want to, you can still use a Sound Blaster Play 3 if you choose. So in FPP, select this. That's the audio device that you would select. And then installing the Sound Blaster. Here we go. So Raspberry Pi or BeagleBone with FPP, always use the latest version. Turn off the Pi or BeagleBone, plug in the Sound Blaster Play 3. Then go ahead and turn it on. In FPP settings, go to Audio Video and select the Sound Blaster Play 3 as the audio output device. Restart FPPD, and then set the volume to 70. Now this is the default, but you may have it set. You may have had it set to a different level. So very important, set it to 70 or you will clip. Plug audio output into the Sound Blaster headphone out, not the mic out, the headphone out. That has happened many times before, troubleshooting with people. Newer boards can boot FPP too quick to load the USB sound cards. In this case, add a 5 to 10 second boot delay in the FPP settings under System. For PC and Mac, plug it in, install the software from Creative's website, and then for SBX Pro Studio, turn that off. The smart volume is optional. If you want to do that, we can talk about that later, and leave the EQ to flat. and then use normal gain and volume at 100%. And then plug the audio output into the Sound Blaster. So Xscheduler for PC or Mac. I know most people are using FPP, but this is for the Xscheduler people, which I know you're out there, but you're still loved. So for the Sound Blaster control panel, creative app. On a PC, use the Play 3 or 4. On the ARM Max, you're going to want to use the Play 4. The built-in equalizer for the Play 3, you can use that if you choose. Again, if you have the final output for your speakers and stuff. I wouldn't use it if you're using FM. The Smart Volume, this is a dynamic audio compressor. This will raise and lower the audio to a more even level on the fly. There's no need to normalize or MP3 gain any audio files. This right here is the one true one-click way to make all your audio have the same volume. It will affect the dynamic range, but some prefer how this sounds. And it can help hide any noise inherent in the FM transmission. Okay, FM transmitters. So, FM or speakers is still the best way for no latency audio, and FM is not going away. These are the most common FM transmitters used in our hobby and are still sold, and all have their pros and cons. You're going to want to match the pre-emphasis with your region for the best audio quality, but they will work in all regions. So this is just a graph showing you the pros and cons of each one, kind of overview of all of them. I'll go into some details on a lot of them, but this is really going to be your comparison graph here. So a couple notes on the rolls, HR70. Within the same model, there are some differences. The antenna connector, it could be a BNC, which is larger, or a smaller SMA. Either way, they're going to output the same kind of thing. Just use whatever adapters you need. And the 15-volt power or the 15-volt and USB power, this is not for audio. And these FM transmitters, they do have low power, so it is going to have a reduced transmission range. And it is going to have the best audio quality for North America, but you will need to supply a good antenna to overcome the range issues. And you will need a 3.5 millimeter stereo to RCA cable, and go ahead and plug it into the line in. Now for the SignStech half watt. On this one, these can go out of stock and are often get pricier near Christmas or supply chain issues. So whenever these presentations come up, people see them, they buy them, and they often go out of stock. It has happened many times. And then there are clones such as the CZE, the Retecus, and those should be fine. And again, with that link and that QR code and that URL, just go there and I'll have links to things. And if something's out of stock, just let me know and I'll find a comparable one and put it up there. Do not buy the higher wattage models. It's going to be tempting. Don't buy them. So for the power adjustment, I recommend setting these to low. So in order to do this, you press and hold the power as you plug in the AC. And then the LCD will show low or high, and recommend setting it to low. And you can toggle between low and high with up and down, and then press power to set. And here's a short little video how to do that. So here's your power. It's unplugged. Hold down power, plug it in. Okay, low or high, pick what you want. Hit power, boom, you're set. All right, FM board notes, these little small FM boards. These are great to have as a spare FM transmitter or for a compact or portable display. And the inputs are set digitally. So set these to 26 so you don't have to worry about adjusting the gain on these later. And you will need to solder antenna and power as noted below. You can use the USB for power though, but you can also solder it if you needed. While it is a good FM transmitter, the USB sound card is very poor. So only use it for line in. Do not use it as USB audio device. Remote Falcon. If you're not using this thing is freaking awesome. So Remote Falcon. Here's the website for Remote Falcon. And with this website, you can have a website of your show to show whatever you want. You can have a custom viewer page, such as pictures, hours of show, title of what song is playing. It's interactive. You can request, what you want to vote for next. And this is going to be better than RDS. RDS is radio data system. Not all cars have this. Some do, some don't. But you're going to need an FM transmitter to do RDS, and there's really not a good source of FM transmitters with RDS, and the data to display is very limited. But the cool thing with the Remote Falcon is, it has the website. It shows you exactly what's playing. It can tell you more information about your show, links to your social media pages, just so much good stuff here. So this thing is stinking awesome. No, it doesn't stream audio. But even if it could, do you want your show playing with crappy, 20 millimeter, these small little speakers, or with Bluetooth, I can't even talk, Bluetooth latency? No, you don't. Okay, antennas. So the dipole is superior to the stock antenna and a cheap dangling wire. A lot of people just cut a cheap dangling wire and call it a day, and that's not good. This does increase range and reduce static drops. Your location results may vary. It does not improve the audio fidelity. For that, you're going to want to use the Sound Blaster and optimize your gain levels. You can mount it inside, outside, on the roof, chimney, wherever you want, but higher is better. John Creed has an excellent dipole antenna build with PDF instructions here. Go to his website, follow along with the instructions. It'll take you half a day and about $50 at Home Depot, and you can build one of these. And feel free to use any antenna adapters and extension cables as needed. It's really not going to have an impact on the transmission. And there are many other types of antennas out there, such as J-pole, but this dipole is going to be easy to build with outstanding results. I'm still looking for a nice antenna that you can buy off the shelf that will kind of do it for everyone, but still haven't found one. This has been the best one by far that I've seen, but you do have to build it yourself. So here's some examples. This is the Rolls HR70 with the dipole antenna. That's my dipole antenna on the right-hand side there. I keep it in my garage because I'm in a cul-de-sac, so I don't need to broadcast that far. But from here, you can see the range. It is kind of, a very narrow range on what I can do with the Rolls. It does have pretty low power. Now the SignStech, a little bit more power, and I can cover a bit more range there. Definitely a lot more range. That's the stock antenna. Sorry, I looked at the right-hand side here. That's the stock antenna. So it does go farther. And that's the 0.5 watt in low power. And then this is the SignStech on low power with the dipole antenna. And I have much better range with that. And I could mount it on my roof, but I don't need to mount it on my roof. But again, every display is different. And every house is different. Okay, so what FM station to use? Find an available FM frequency. You can use the radio locator website right here to find an available frequency that may be best for you, but what is listed may not be the best, so definitely test it for yourself. In my case, this is what came up for me, but 89.1 was the best one, and this is the third best channel. Go figure. Okay, some cars have trouble picking up lower FM stations such as 87.5 or 87.7. So to help avoid this, only use 88.1 through 108 FM and only transmit as far as you need. You don't want to interfere with other stations or raise the eye of the FCC, and even a 0.5 watt transmitter in low power can transmit for blocks or even miles. All right, optimizing your gain level. This is very important. Do not skip this step. So this is crucial. And non-optimized gain levels can result in distortion and noise, loss of audio levels, future problems, and using a test tone is the easiest way to optimize your audio levels. The 100 hertz 0 dB test tone, this is the maximum audio output without distortion. You can generate one in Audacity, or you can even download one. I'll have a link for that. And if you hear distortion at any point in your test, then it's clipping. So use a 30-second sample or generate one in Audacity. You can download from there. Very easy to make it in Audacity. There's the instructions. Stick it into FPP, and we'll go over how to do this optimizing in just a moment. So for the gain levels, what if the gain level is too low? Well, this has less signal and more noise. So there's an example of the audio level. Well, what happens if we have our gain levels too high? You're going to have clipping and distortion, and some parts may sound fine right there on the left, and then others will not. That's when you get the distortion. But if you have your optimized gain levels, you're going to have the maximum gain without distortion, and you're going to have more signal and less noise. So at the bottom, that's an optimized gain level right there. So how do we optimize our gain levels? So first we need to prep our sound card. In FPP, select the Sound Blaster as the output, or select the PCM 510 2A if using a CULP, and restart FPPD. Set the volume to 70. This is going to be the default, but again, double check it. And if any higher, you will clip. On a PC or Mac with the Sound Blaster, select the Sound Blaster as your default audio out. SBX Pro Studio is off and the Smart Volume set to off. Leave the EQ to flat. And then you can turn on Smart Volume if you want after optimizing your levels. Set normal gain and volume at 100%. If you want to be safe, set it to 95. And then if you have a generic sound card, if you have no other options, the first step you need to do is order the Sound Blaster, and while waiting for it to arrive, set the pi to 100% because it has a super crappy sound card. And then for generic onboard audio, set to 100%, lower if you needed. And then when it comes in the mail, plug it in, come back, and then do it the right way. And then you're going to leave these settings. You will not be adjusting these any further. So after you've optimized your gain, you're not going to be tweaking this volume level anymore here, okay? So the FM transmitter, prep the FM transmitter. Turn all levels to 0, the input gain to 0. And on the FM board transmitter, set and leave the input gain to 26. Prep the car audio, radio, or loudspeakers. Turn the final volume to low. So set it like 25, 50%. Doesn't have to be exact. Just have it low. And then turn off any EQ, bass, or treble enhancements if possible. And then I have a little video on showing this, how this is done. It was in the short video, but I'm going to show a clip of it because it's an easy way to see how to set the gain level. This is very important. Don't skip this part. Optimizing your gain levels is crucial so you have the strongest audio signal without distortion. Also, don't guess. Regardless of what some rando person online says, don't put FPP at 50 and the volume dial at halfway and call it a day, as your levels will be less than optimal or introduce distortion. Instead, use science. If using FPP, leave it 70. If using a computer, set volume at 100. Leave these settings here. You're not going to be changing them. We are going to use a 0 dB 100 Hertz test tone. This audio file is at the maximum volume level without distortion. Any distortion downline is easy to hear with bass. Generate one in Audacity or download here. Play the 100 Hertz test tone from FPP or your computer on a loop. Get your in-listening device, such as car radio if broadcasting, or external speakers, and put around 25% volume. This doesn't have to be exact. With the 100 Hertz test tone playing, slowly turn up the gain on your FM transmitter till you hear distortion on the in-listening device. Once you hear distortion, back the gain down until you hear no more distortion. Now leave this set here. Done. You've optimized your audio gain and can now turn up your in-listening device. If you're using the FM board, you can skip optimization as inputs are set digitally, so leave it 26. And then after that, your gain is optimized. All right, miscellaneous audio tips. Bluetooth. Just don't bother with Bluetooth. There's too much latency that you can never overcome. And all Bluetooth audio is recompressed and adds latency. Now, some Bluetooth speakers have an aux input or an FM tuner. You're going to want to use that instead. And never, ever, ever sequence with Bluetooth headphones. Your sequences will be out of sync, and it is going to be a bear to fix. So never sequence with Bluetooth headphones. Always use wired. Wires and FM have no latency. Buy your MP3s from Amazon. Don't be a cheapskate and rip poor audio from YouTube or any place like that. Yes, you can afford $1 for a quality MP3 file. Outdoor speakers. I do recommend outdoor Polk or Klipsch. If you're on a budget, you can use Dual Electronics outdoor speakers. They're not half bad. Use an amplifier. Do not power these directly. Home theater receivers are found cheap at thrift shops. Those are going to be great. You can find those all day long there, and they'll power just about any kind of speaker you can throw at them. Now, Drock also sells many inexpensive, small quality amplifier boards that can be powered by a 12-volt power supply. They also make timers, so you can create a push for music. That's what I did with mine. I did a combination of this and nice little push button for a push for music on the outside. with my nice outdoor Polk speakers. Car audio delays. Some car audio systems have audio processing delays, and there is nothing you can do on your end to compensate for this, nor should you try. The best you can do is try having them turn off audio enhancements. Now, I've been doing this display for a while, and only once have I ever come across someone who did have an audio delay. And I do talk to the people that come to my show all the time. So not saying it doesn't happen, it does happen. But if it does, try having them turn off any audio delays or things like that. It has nothing to do with an HD radio because we are broadcasting FM and it's not an HD. I have an HD radio in my system and I pick up mine with 0 latency because it's going to pick up the analog signal. So that's not an indicator. It just depends on the audio system, and you never know what you're going to find with those. So best to have them turn off any settings. So audio cables. Stock audio cables can often be poor. An audio cable will never fix incorrect gain, a poor sound card, or poor audio files. Do use quality shielded cables. And you can have good affordable brands are like Monoprice, Cable Matters, Amazon Basics. What you're going to want to look for is shielded to prevent EMI or RFI interference with gold connectors. Those are going to be the best. Audio splitters are also fine. So are Ethernet balance. The Ethernet balance is the one that looks like an audio Ethernet connector with the audio there. So you can have, your audio runs go really, really far with the Ethernet cable. And I know people probably have spools of those in our hobby. And 50-foot plus audio runs is totally fine. Just don't run alongside pixel or power cords or interference can occur. Ferrite cores. These help reject EMI and RFI interference. And you're going to want to wrap the cable around at least once when possible. Place on each AC and audio line, and it may not perform miracles, but they do help. External mixers. In general, these are unnecessary unless you have a specific need. See what I said about previously about equalization. People were previously getting these and connecting them to the Pi to try to filter out any audio problems, but it's better just to replace the sound card. So see what I said previously about equalization. Using an external mixer in an attempt to correct a poor audio source is a bad idea. Getting garbage in, garbage out. Always start with a quality sound. Always start with a quality sound output first and upgrade your sound card and optimize your gain levels. So connections. This is a nice diagram made by Shane Ream. And how do you connect all this together? So I have a picture of this you can download in the QR code, but you can also look at it here, and this is how you connect everything together. All right, audio troubleshooting. Something's gone wrong. So while I can't anticipate every possible audio problem, here are the most common ones. So for the testing method, always start your testing at the source and move down the line. Is the issue present in the audio file? Throw it into Audacity to take a look and listen to it. Is the issue present at the sound output? Plug headphones into your sound output. Is the issue present at the FM transmitter? Test with different FM receivers through a car audio, and in the viewing area is going to be best. So yeah, test with different audio receivers. A lot of people just use one FM receiver to test with, and sometimes there's a problem with that. So try different ones. Clipping and distortion. A quality FM transmitter cannot compensate for a bad sound card or bad levels. So check the output levels because clipping can occur at the audio file, the sound card, the FM transmitter, and in the final output, such as car speakers and car stereo or speakers. So again, starting with the source, including the audio file. Don't forget that because I've seen a lot of problems within the audio file itself. Move down the line. When in doubt, turn the outputs down a little, like reduce in increments of 5. And are you plugged into aux or the line in and not the mic? Again, start over and re-optimize your gain levels. What about static? Starting with the source, including the audio file, see if the static exists. Do you have a poor antenna? Try a different antenna. Mount the antenna higher or in a different location. Line of sight is going to be best. Check connections. Check for cable damage. Check antenna ground. Try a higher output level on the FM transmitter. You could have electrical interference. Try turning off nearby electrical devices or remove nearby cables. Use a USB extension cord to move the sound card and FM transmitter away from other electronics. And try a different receiver, as not all radios are the same. Interference. Try a different frequency. Try a different antenna location or a different antenna. Try a different FM receiver. Remember what I said about those? Some tune better than others. Try separating transmitter and audio device from other electronics. Use a USB extension cable to separate the sound card. You sure you're not using an overpowered FM transmitter? A lot of people will kind of fail to admit that they have a overpowered transmitter and they're having all these problems. Also, metal, brick, and glass can interfere. Turn off other devices one at a time to find the source of the interference. Ferrite cores can help reject interference. Maybe you have a ground loop. Some of the USB 3 gig hub NIC cards can also cause audio interference. I've seen that on some. So in that case, use a USB 2.0 100 megabit. Again, totally enough speed for our hobby instead. And again, see the links in the page. Do you have dull, flat, or lifeless audio? If using lower bitrate audio files, YouTube rips, or files that have been recompressed multiple times, this will severely degrade your audio. And in these cases, there is no way to recover from low bitrate or recompressed audio. The damage has already been done. Recompressing the audio will degrade it even further. Seek out the original higher quality files and go ahead and spend that $1 and buy the MP3 from Amazon. Onboard and generic audio cards are going to take the life out of the audio. Use a sound blaster. You could have possible interference. Try a different FM channel. All right, ground loop. This is a constant often low hum you hear in the audio. And this is caused by being connected to two different paths to ground. So you can move things around so they plug into a common AC outlet. You can also use an electrical tester to make sure the outlet shows is correct. And you could use a ground loop isolator, but it may reduce audio quality. So something to keep in mind. And there's some resources if you have a ground loop to try to help identify that and kind of fix it. All right, power. More power. Inadequate Raspberry Pi power. The Pi requires adequate power to properly operate. Otherwise, weird issues can occur. So you need at least 2.4 amps for the Pi 3, 3 amps for the Pi 4, and 5 amps for the Pi 5. Adding more USB devices will draw more power, even if the Pi appears to be working okay. Daniel Culp added a Pi voltage checker in FPP version 8 and up. So if you see this in the upper hand corner, where you see that little lightning bolt, you have inadequate power. Problems can occur. So if you see this error, it is a check engine light on your system. Do not ignore it. Give it the power it needs. Power problems can have random reboots. You had USB devices like the Sound Blaster disconnecting or not showing up. And don't reuse old AC USB adapters or USB power cables you have just lying around. Many times those can be the issues themselves. Bad USB cables and underpowered Pis are all too common. This is one of the most common issues I see by far. So get quality ones. When in doubt, replace USB power and USB cables with new quality ones. And you know the drill. The links are in the page. Too much FM power. An FM transmitter higher than half a watt can and will cause interference and knock out USB devices or cause them not to show up. Yes, the 5 watts, 7 watts and higher can be cheaper, but don't be tempted. I do not recommend using an FM transmitter over half a watt, as all sorts of weird issues can occur. All right, we are almost done here. Almost done. Hang in there. So to recap, audio output. Use quality audio files from a reputable source like Amazon. Avoid YouTube rips. Use quality USB cables and power adapters. Avoid recompressing when possible. Use high bitrate to resave. Normalize audio files if needed in Audacity to 0 dB or MP3 gain, which will raise or lower the gain volume without recompressing. Optionally, use the Smart Volume and Sound Blaster software if running the show from a computer. Use quality sound card, Sound Blaster Play 3. Avoid generic and built-in audio. Avoid any audio enhancements. Set the EQ to flat. Only EQ if you have control over the final output source such as loudspeakers. For the FM transmitter, always plug into aux or line in. Turn down or off the mic when input. Mount your antenna head level or higher and use a better antenna. Again, line of sight, unobstructed view of the antenna from the viewing area. That is going to be the best. Use ferrite cores on AC and quality shielded audio cables. Choose a free FM frequency. Use 88.1 to 108 FM. Only transmit as far as you need to. Do not use FM transmitters higher than half a watt. Test for sound issues starting at the source and move down the line. So to optimize your gain, use a test tone. For example, the 100 Hertz 0 dB test tone. FPP is set to 70, computer set to 100. Turn the final listening device, like car or speakers, set it to low, and then turn the gain up on the FM transmitter until it distorts, and then back it down until no more distortion is heard. And then leave these levels, leave them set here, and you're going to be good. So again, here's the links. There's the URL, there's the QR code, and I'm going to list all recommended hardware links and keep them up to date. And yes, I have been known to cause Amazon stock issues, and we'll list alternative locations when possible. There's the Rasmussen effect right there. They're frequently bought together. It happens all the time. Again, thanks. So here's thanks to people kind of who have done some testing for me on their own or other inputs, things like that. Troubleshooting and input. Thank you, everyone. You can see the reviews on the Sound Blaster Play 3 on Amazon. Like tons of people are using it for their Christmas lights. So yeah, thank you, everyone. And thanks for watching. Perfect sound, perfect show. Audio and FM transmission. Any questions?
Actually, there are no questions out here yet.
There are no questions. I answered
no questions
perfectly.
Yeah.
I anticipated everything. My job is done.
Man, you make it look so simple.
Well, I try. I simplified this one. I saw many people. They're like, "Oh, my audio's not working." That's when I spent the time to make that short little video. Here you go. Start here.
Yeah, I mean it sent me back down memory lane. I was looking. I think I have a Sound Blaster 16 I can pull out, use on my computer. Get better sound, right?
A Sound Blaster 16. You got one of those old school ones. Oh
Yeah.
Man, I started on the Gravis Ultrasound back on the PC. That was a good one. That was a good sound card.
All right, Jason. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was very informative, and maybe we'll have you on another time for something else.
Yeah, for other things. I know if you look in professional triers, like I did some other stuff previously on other topics, but they're probably lost in the ether somewhere.
The interwebs.
Yeah, exactly. No questions. Awesome. Wow.
We do have a question on here now.
All right.
How can podcasters normalize their live or recorded audio?
Well, they're totally unrelated to the topic we have here. Totally unrelated. Is this like live or post? I mean, if it's post, you can use Audacity or other programs like that. There's a lot of audio programs. If you're doing it live, I don't really do things live, but I know that there's, OBS Studio and things like that can do stuff. And you're probably going to want to look for compression, so that when you're speaking, it will either raise or lower it on the fly, or just get a good mic. Get a good mic. A good mic helps. That's a good start. Too many people use the mic that's just kind of like on their webcam, which is absolute crap. Nothing else?
All right. No, nothing else.
All right,
Jason. Well, thank you very much. We should be back next week. I will be at the Ohio Lighting Enthusiast Mini that's coming up on next Saturday. So hopefully I'll be back in time. I'll be returning on Sunday. Going to visit the Christmas Story House out in Cleveland as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Jason.
All right. Take care, everyone.
That's it for tonight's lesson in light-based lunacy. Smash that subscribe button, zap a comment below, and share your worst tech fail. We might feature it next class. Until then, stay lit, stay learning, and always bring a backup SD card. Night School dismissed.